everybody for our second attempt at Zoom. Seems like we've had a pretty quiet month, but now the restrictions have started to be lifted. We're starting to move on a bit more. I'll go on to the next report, which should be the Secretary's report. Over to you, Sandra.
Good evening, everybody. Hope we've got a big crowd out there watching us tonight. Just a few emails that we've received from Four-Wheel Drive Victoria about the Mount Scheme permits. They're not available at this point in time. There's assistance needed for the bushfires because apparently they've been forgotten, unfortunately. One thing you must be very careful of, when you go out on your day trips, be careful because there's going to be state forest patrols. It wasn't just last weekend, it's going to continue, and there's going to be people out there watching you, and if there are too many people and you're not obeying the rules, you will be fined, you'll be pulled up, so be very, very careful when you go away. Remember your sanitisers and your distances and all the rest of it, and just enjoy what you can for the moment.
Thanks, Sandra. Bruce, the Treasurer's report. What do you got for us this month?
Good evening, everyone. Just a couple of things. Firstly, an update on the review that's been conducted by our auditor. So they reviewed the accounts as at the 31st of March. I've had clearance from the auditors to say all is under control. It's all good, no adjustments required. Back to you, Mr. President.
The next item on our agenda is the speakers. We have some people from Westprint. For those of you who are members, I get my email every Friday afternoon, which I look forward to. Gives me a bit of a break for the day. So without any further ado, we could put you across to our guest speaker. And
first of all, we'd like to thank Sandra for sending the invitation to be guest speakers at your meeting tonight. Although it feels a little bit weird sitting here in front of a camera to do it instead of standing in front of an audience. Some of you will know us. For the ones that don't, I'm Graham, this is Joe, and John's up there in the picture on the behind us. So we're really the three that started and run Westprint from a day-to-day point of view. Some of you may have run across us at Cruisacana, or some of you may have dropped in from time to time, but probably most of you might know us through the Friday 5 newsletters that Joe does each week. So that's our main way of keeping in touch and has been for a while, but it's pretty much our only way of keeping in touch with people at the moment because nobody can come here. That's about all I've got to say by way of introduction, and Joe's going to just run through probably the most half dozen common questions that people ask about Westprint and what we do and how we do it and why we do it. So over to you.
Thank you. Hi all. Most of you will probably have heard of me, well, I hope you've all heard of me, mostly from doing daggy stuff on our Westprint Instagram and Facebook account, especially over the COVID lockdown. I've been having a lot of fun. Yes, this is weird. None of us like videoing ourselves, and we'll be on board at your meeting to do a question and answer session. But I thought I'd start today with the 6 most common questions that we get asked. So the first one is, how did Westprint start? And as you can see, the patriarch up in the corner there, that's John. Back in 1985, John was approached to help with a map of the Little Desert. And the reason being is that we've had a farm 2 kilometres from the Little Desert. It's been in the family since 1880. So really, I think probably John would know where every historical site, every shepherd's hut, every track, every good patch of orchids is in the Little Desert. And so when John Brownlee from Algona Maps in Melbourne asked him to collaborate, John was very happy to do that. And following that, Algona and John collaborated on a few more projects. Algona closed and John Brownlee retired, and this John, Westprint John, bought the business, which was about a stock of 400 maps at that stage. And from there, from those first beginnings, which we started with 2 map titles, and I'm hoping that Laurie can magically show you a picture. That's it there. It's a very plain affair. It's black and white, and that's it. That's what we started with. So from there, we now have, I think it's a range of about 25 paper maps, and we have the whole of Australia covered in digital format. Anyone that's phoned me asking about digital will understand that I don't do anything about digital. That's Graham's department. So we might get back to him later. He doesn't very often get a word in when I'm talking, so I'll just start that way. And when he does talk, I just interrupt, so that's the way of the world. The second question that we get asked most often is, are we cartographers? We absolutely are not cartographers, and we think that that probably helps us in our business, because that way we look at it from the perspective of someone that wants to travel. Our cartographer is also John Frith in Adelaide. His business is Flat Earth Mapping. We would consider John to be one of the top cartographers in Australia. And he's been doing our cartography work for many, many years and does an excellent job. And from that very first black and white, this is the type of thing that we now produce, full colour and very accurate. Thanks to John, not to us. So question number 3, what is the impact of technology on your business? Well, we've been in business since 1985, so I can tell you that technology has had a huge impact, as has the change in four-wheel drive vehicles over that time. Once upon a time, all our map drafts would be posted backwards and forwards to Adelaide. Now, of course, that's done on computer, and we can do 4 updates in the space of an afternoon rather than over a 2-month period. So that's a positive impact. The other positive impact is when we started, 4-wheel drives were dusty and dirty, and our maps didn't last, they got dirty. And nowadays, 4-wheel drives have less dust than my house, and they're a whole lot more comfortable to travel in. I guess really what people are asking about though is the impact of digital data on our business. And again, that's Graham's domain, not mine. But what we've seen is people are going back to paper maps. We've certainly seen that huge slump when everybody got a Kindle, a GPS, and headed out bush. And I think now most people have realised that there's some really good quality books around, and they're nice to have on your shelf. And a paper map is a really good thing to be able to see what's outside the immediate screen on your GPS. Do you have anything else that you want to add about technology?
No, that's probably summed it up fairly well. The technology has helped us actually prepare the maps in the first place, so it makes life a lot easier from a production point of view. Without the current technology, it's very labour intensive and slow and costly, so it's made things much easier to produce a map. So.
We made a decision a couple of years ago that we weren't going to go down the track of trying to produce apps and a whole lot of digital data specific to Westprint. We do have digital data, and there are a range of products available. Call Graham, don't call me. But it's something that we felt that we didn't have the skills to do, and really, we didn't really want to do it. We would much rather go out, see a tree that's 60 k's off to the side of your map and go and investigate it. And you can't really do that with your GPS. Having said that, we also wouldn't travel without one, because to tell you where you are, they are a really good safety feature. Any more on that, or we go to the next one?
I think we're done with that.
Yeah. Technology is really good, but we don't want it to take over our lives. So next question, do you travel? Yes, but not as much as we would like, and probably not as much as some of you guys down there have travelled. For a start, John and Bev got to do most of the travelling, and we were setting up the business here in Nil. Now that our kids are older, adult children, we are certainly travelling more and more, and we would like to do more. So hopefully we'll see you on the road somewhere. Anything more? That's about it.
Yeah, until this lockdown finishes, I guess none of us are going anywhere much.
Except the South Australians. They've got such a huge state to travel in. I'm a bit jealous. And I guess Western Australia and the Territory are the same. Question number 5. Why aren't all maps plastic? This is the Canning Stock Group map. And again, I'll try and send Laurie a slide to show you that so that you don't have to just look at us talking. This is the only map that we do which is on a plastic coated paper. Why aren't all maps plastic? Because if they were plastic, you would never buy another one, and we need to stay in business. That's not the real reason. The real reason is that we use a printing company in Adelaide called Finsbury Green, and the green part of that is that they have really high ecological and green standards. They use all vegetable-based inks, and the plastic coated paper has a lot of petrochemical impact, and paper will break down and is biodegradable. So vegetable inks, paper that breaks down, and that's why we don't have plastic maps. Also so we can resell you another one. The last question that I wanted to talk to you about, and we get asked, is what are you working on? So at the moment in the lockdown, I'm working on the Friday Fives. Graham, what are you working on?
Mostly government red tape tied up with COVID, but that seems to have about run its course at the moment. What we'd like to get back to is some more mapping side of things. Oops. Our last 3 maps that we've produced have all been in the spiral bound atlas type format, and we've got a couple of other ideas that we can run with to produce new ones of them. They're really good for adding more information than what you can actually put on the back of a map, or covering an area that you really can't fit on a single sheet of paper. So the one that I was just holding up, the Lendells Roads, covers about 8,000 kilometres of track, and I would hate to think how many square kilometres of country it covers, but to put it on a sheet map, you were looking at something like 2 metres by 1.5 metres, and that just wouldn't even fold out in your bonnet very well. So the booklet form works well with it.
So Graham's probably being a bit modest. He spent 2 years pretty much working on this full time, along with John Frith, our cartographer. Before that 2 years full time, it was something that was on the drawing board for many years, trying to work out how to get the Bedell roads mapped. And I'll tell you a secret, don't tell anyone. He is now working on some of the hand tracks. So, like I said, don't tell anyone. So my most recent project, which has been out a couple of years now, was this book, the Madigan book, Crossing the Dead Heart. This is something that I worked on along with John and John Frith, and we've actually managed to reproduce this in a style that's faithful to the original but completely re-typeset. And I would like to thank John Frith, because I didn't do any of the typesetting, but I did a lot of reading. I think I could probably quote you this book word for word, but we've managed to get new photos and have the whole thing re-typeset. And we also got Colin Harris. Some of you may know of Colin Harris. He's a bit of a quiet achiever, but he's probably the most foremost expert on the Simpson Desert and the Mound Springs areas of South Australia that we have. And Colin graciously went through and footnoted this whole book for us. So that's something that I'm really proud of too. It's not all about just making funny videos for Instagram. Sometimes I do some work. So, anything more to add?
No, I think we might wrap it up there, and if anybody's typed in any questions, we'll try and answer them in the next little segment.
Yeah, we hope to be on board on the night to talk to you all in person and not just be staring at a screen. It's tough, but hopefully we'll see you all soon in person.
Okay, thank you, Joe and Graham. Keep up the good work. I certainly look forward to seeing your Friday at 5 emails and some of the stories, and in particular the jokes at the bottom. So the next report is from Brian Stewart.
Good evening, everyone. Yark site check. The property was looking in great shape, considering virtually no visitors over the past 8 weeks. All 3 gates were locked and secure. The Hilton, all secure, still clean and tidy inside, no signs of any vermin. In the garden area, some of the plants are doing well and flowering. The main concrete water tank is full and still overflowing. The tractor shed and amenities building were all secure. The rain gauge was very full, 141 millimetres in the past 28 days. The access tracks, only a few minor fallen branches on the main access track to clear. Thankfully, no large fallen trees blocking the access. Security cameras were still running after 3 months. The review of the security photos showed no unauthorised vehicles or persons on site. Now, other members of the team have been following up on projects so that when the time is right and we're ready to get back to enjoying our weekends at Yark, we're ready to go. So we'll see you there soon. Really miss that place.
Okay, Brian, thank you very much, mate. Looks like there's a fair bit ready to go. The next person to speak will be Viv, trip convener. Over to you, Viv.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Last week, the committee approved club day trips with very strict guidelines. And this information was posted on last week's weekend wrap. And for Trip Leaders information, I've reposted it to the Trip Leader Facebook page. We have 1 trip listed so far, and that's from Baz and I, and we're running a day trip on the 4th of July. The Trip Convener Subcommittee will be presenting an online Trip Leader course via Zoom. This will be on the evenings of the 27th and 28th of May. Applications are via the club's website. And that's all I've got to report.
Okay, thanks, Viv. So you're running I need to do an upgrade for myself. Is that the course that you're running?
No, this is just for new trip leaders. I can help you, Eric. All you need to do is the paperwork side of things.
Okay. You've got a video to play.
I have.
Okay, thanks for that, Viv. That Tasmania trip number 2 opened up with the Derby Town Hall. My father was born in Derby. It was a real one-horse town, and as far as I remember, back in the old days. Now it's one of the world meccas of mountain biking. That district, Branksholme, round Derby, so forth. Anyway, without any further ado, we'll take you across to Liz Mills from Education. She's got a video to show as well as her report. So over to you, Liz.
Thank you, Eric. Good evening, everybody. Lovely to see you all. Well, as you know, I can't organise any courses at the moment because of the lockdowns, but I'd like to say a big thank you to Laurie Mars for running 3 Aussie Explorer trips on Zoom, of course, and also one on video editing. So that was fantastic, and I think a few people enjoyed that. We also have a Zoom course on June the 3rd, on the Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock on geocaching. So why do I want to be a geocacher, do you say? Well, come and join the course. I'd love to see the family with you because the children love it. So book in on the website, and I hope we have lots of people and a bit of fun that evening. So not much else at the moment. I'm still working on things as things change, and I'll let you know as soon as we get a few things up and running. So I believe they're showing a video now of the Canning Stock route. So see you next month.
The Canning Stock route was opened to enable cattle to travel from the tick-infested areas in the East Kimberley to the eastern goldfields without running the risk of infecting pastoral lands.
Wow, that was great. Actually, I've been wanting to do the Canning Stock Group for quite a while. I might end up doing it as a trip myself towards the end of this year or maybe next year. Next item on the agenda is Laurie Miles from Webmaster. She's got a bit to report, so over to you, Laurie.
Yeah, things are going pretty well from a webmaster perspective. People on Facebook, I'm sorry, we've had a few technical hiccups tonight and we have tried to reconnect quite a few times. I apologise. We are going to try and resolve that so you don't have that headache again. It's great to see so many people viewing online during the Zoom and also with Facebook, because Facebook, Matt's over there hosting it and they're commenting every 5 seconds, is it? I just had a note there, comment. So it's good to see both streams being used. From a webmaster perspective, I've just got one thing I want to talk about. Rob Duff raised the issue, why can't we have a picture of some of people, so registering for a trip, we can see who they are. The database has a thing called Avatar and you can put in your picture, and we actively encourage you go into your log on and put your portrait picture of your head. Please don't put your car, please don't put your dog, because remember, is when another member wants to find out who you are, a trip leader, they can actually see who you are. And Rob made a comment to me, someone came up to him in a meeting and said, hey, I'm coming on your trip next week. And Rob's going, right. And he's thinking, who is he? And had he had his photo, he would have seen him and he would have gone, yeah, I know who exactly you are. So it helps both ways. If you see the trip leaders on the website, the trip leaders don't see you. So if you can go on there, put your little photo in there, and it makes it a lot easier to work out who people are. That's it for me this week.
Okay, thanks, Laurie. The next item on the agenda is general business. So anybody got any questions that need answering? Fire away now.
I've got a little ad here from Ken Hildebrand, if I may.
Yeah. Fire away, Sandra.
Okay. Land Cruiser 5-stud 16-inch steel wheel, complete with unused Bridgestone 750 by 16 Desert Jewel attire. Never been on the road. Includes rust band and tube, ideal for second spare for someone going off-road and out back. $80 or nearest offer. Ken Hildebrand, I have his number. If people want to contact Ken and they're interested in this tyre, it looks like a darn good price for a very good tyre. Thank you.
It's only one wheel and tyre, isn't it?
Yes, it's just the one. And it's never been used.
Split rim. You can see it's never been used.
Yep.
All right. Anyone else got any buy and sell? I've got a 80 series Land Cruiser for sale. It's petrol and automatic for those who don't want to drive manual.
Joe, if you want to join in.
Excellent. Oh, I've always got something to say.
Without a doubt.
So, no, just like to thank you all for inviting us along. It's been great to join in and watch. So very, very desperate to get out there now, having seen all those videos, as I guess you guys all are. But thank you again, especially to Sandra and to Laurie for making us look good. And hope we see you all out there soon.
You look wonderful, Joe.
Yeah, we really appreciate you coming on, actually, taking the time to share your time with us.
Especially Yark. Can't wait to get back there and visit you guys up there. You have such an amazing property up there. You are very, very lucky.
Yes, that's true. And we've had a fair bit going on up there too, by the way. The team that manages all that are absolutely superb. They're very dedicated. They take ownership of what they're doing up there, which is great. Augurs well for the club. Thank you again, Joe and Graham.
All right.
No
Good
doubt
evening, everybody.
we'll get you back to the club when the COVID virus thing's all over and everybody can mix as we normally did at Mulgrave.
Yeah, look forward to it.
Yeah. All right. If that's the end of the meeting, then I'll call it quits and we'll close at 8:32.